In this video, I'm going to go over the bitwise operators in C. So the bitwise operators work with bits. They work with the actual ones and zeros of their operands. So ultimately, all data on computers is stored as zeros and ones. So if I have an unsigned integer here, x, and I set it equal to 9, the way that actually looks in the computer is something like this. You'd have 9 is represented like this. A few 4s here, 4 4s, and then 1 0 0 1. And this would be a binary number representation of this number here, 9. That's how we could represent the number with zeros and ones. Now, exactly how it works is something that I might actually leave for another video, because representing numbers and different pieces of data as binary numbers actually gets fairly complicated if we get into how floating point numbers work and how negative numbers work and things like this. But basically what's going on here, just in case you're curious, is that each one of these digits basically counts for 2 to the power of something. So this digit here represents 2 to the power of 0. This digit here represents 2 to the power of 1. This digit here represents 2 to the power of 2. This digit here represents 2 to the power of 3, and on and on. So 2 to the power of 0 is 1. So this digit, we can kind of think of it as being worth 1. This 2 to the power of 1, that's going to be worth 2. This here, 2 to the power of 2, we can say that digit is worth 4. This 2 to the power of 3 digit, we would say that's 8, right? Because 2 times 2 times 2 is 8. And so each one of these digits in this number basically represents an increasing power of 2. And the way that 9 gets represented is we have the 2 to the power of 3 digit turned on, which is worth 8, and the 2 to the power of 0 digit turned on, which is worth 1, and 8 added together with 1 gives us 9. So that's actually how 9 is represented with bits. So that's 9. We'll make another number here. We'll say, 24 here is equal to this. It's going to look like this. We'll say 1 0 0 0, and we'll say unsigned int y is equal to 24. And this 24 here, the reason why it's represented like this is because this digit here is worth 8, just the same as this one here, right? And this digit here is worth 16. That's the next power of 2, 2 to the power of 4. And 16 plus 8 gives you 24. So that's why 24 looks like this in memory. And then we'll make one more variable for actually storing the result of these bitwise operators. So we'll say unsigned int r. Now we'll test out the different operators here, and there's 6 of them here. So the first one we'll do is left shift. So left shift looks like this. We're going to say r is equal to x shift 2. So what this is going to do is it's going to take x here, and it's going to shift the number over by 2 bits. So it's going to look like this. We'd actually kind of append 2 zeros to the right-hand side here, and we take 2 zeros off the left-hand side here. And it would be shifted over like this. Now, if we add this up, this is what, 4, and this is 32. So this is going to be 36 when we print it out. So we'll print it out, and we'll say here r is going to be 36 now. And we'll actually put it like this. We'll say x shift 2. So we'll save that there, do a compilation, and oh, I forgot to take out this kind of code that I had there just to show you the worth of the digits here. But I'll clear that, compile it, and run it, and we get that it's 36. And what happened is we took what x was and we shifted it over by 2 digits to the left. And when we did that, when we shifted the actual bits over 2 digits to the left, we went to something that looked like this, right? So we actually, added 2 zeros onto the left-hand side, and took 2 zeros off of the left-hand side, and that's what we ended up with. And so that's the shift by 2. Now we could keep shifting it, or we could only shift it by 1. If I shift it by 1, it would look like this. We'd kind of add 1 0 onto the right-hand side, take 1 0 off the left-hand side. It would end up looking like this, and you'd have 2 plus 16, you get 18. So we'll save this here, and this should give us 18 now. So we'll do a recompilation here, run it, and we get 18. And so you notice that it has the effect of doubling this number, right? Because if we shifted by 1, 9 became 18. When we shifted by 2, 9 became 36. So it was like 9 times 2 times 2. And so that's the effect you can expect with the shift left operator like that. So that's a shift left operator. Let's do another one here. We'll say R shift right 2. And then we'll printf the result here. We'll say R is equal to X shift right 2. And then we'll printf X shift right 2. And we'll output the result here. Let's see what we get this time. So recompile it and run it, and we get 2. So what's going on there? So remember, X originally looked like this. We had 0 here, 1, 0, 1. So if we shift it to the right by 2, it looks like this. It's like we take 2 zeros and append them to the left-hand side, and then we take off the 2 digits, whatever they are, on the right-hand side. So we take off these 2 digits here. And then we're left with this. And this number here is 2, right? Because this digit we said is worth 2, right? And so that's why we're left with 2 as the result. And so that's the shift right operator. Next, we'll do the ones complement operator. That looks like this. We're going to say R is equal to tilde X, and we'll printf this. We'll say printf tilde X. And we'll do %d /n. We'll just output R here, actually, I should say. We'll output R there. And what this ones complement operator does is it takes the digits here, and we'll just kind of flip it back to what it was before. It takes the digits here and it flips them. So it makes the zeros ones and the ones zeros. So it would look like this. We could actually maybe throw it down here. It would take it and flip it. So this would become 0, 1, 1, 0, and then 1, 2, 3, 4. And that's what the new number would be, because this was what ones complement does. It takes the existing number and it flips the zeros into ones and it flips the ones into zeros. So if we compile this and run it, we're actually going to get a negative number here. We're going to get negative 10. And that's because of the way that negative numbers are represented with C. So C uses what's called 2's complement to represent negative numbers, as a lot of things do actually in computing in general. And this here is actually negative 10. That's actually how negative 10 is represented. And 2's complement, that's a complicated enough of a thing that I really should make another video about that. So one day I'll make another video about that, just to explain how exactly that does actually represent negative 10. So let's do a couple more operands here. There's the AND operator. So the AND operator is actually going to do a bitwise AND. And the way that works is it's going to look at these bits here. Maybe I'll put them right next to each other here so we can just see them cleanly here. And the way the AND operator is going to work is that if the bits are both set to 1, then it will actually set that bit to 1. Otherwise, it'll set the bit to 0. So it looks at this bit, and they're both 0, so that's 0. Same thing for the next couple. This one, the bit is 0, and this one is 1, so we get 0 here. This one here, the bit is 1, the bit is 1, so it'll set that. We get 1. 0, 0, so we get 0. 0, 0, so we get 0. And 1, 0, so we get 0. So the AND operator is only going to set the bit to 1 if both of the operands have a 1 in that position. So what we expect in this case is that this should actually produce the number 8, right? Because that's like 1, 2, 4, and then this is worth 8. So we expect that X and Y should give us 8. So let's actually give that a test here. We'll say here, R is equal to X and Y. And the AND operator just looks like that, just one AND. And then we'll say printf X and Y, and we'll output R to see what we get here. We expect to get 8 back. Let's see if we're right here. So we do a compilation, we run it, and we get X and Y is 8. Okay, let's do another one. Let's do the OR operator. So the OR operator looks like this. The OR operator is going to flip the digit to 1 if either one or both of the operands has a 1 in that position. So in this case here, like these first couple are all zeros here. So it'll be 0, 0, 0, 0, 0. This case here, though, you've got a 0 here and a 1 here. And because one of these digits is 1, we get 1 here. And then same here. Both the digits are 1, so we're going to get 1 here. And then the next two, it's like 0 and 0 here, so it's going to be just zeros. And then this here, you got 1 and a 0, so OR is going to give us 1. And so this here is going to be what? 1 plus 8 plus 16. That should give us 25. So we expect that X or Y is going to give us 25 back because of the way it sets the bit. So we'll say X or Y %D. We'll output R here. Let's just compile this here and see what we get. So compile it, run it, and we get X OR Y is 25. So that's the OR operator. And then there's one more called XOR. And the way the XOR operator works is kind of interesting. So the XOR operator, that basically means exclusive OR. And exclusive OR means that both digits cannot be 1. Either one digit or the other digit is 1 exclusively to set the digit in the result here to 1. So it looks like this, like these first couple here with the zeros, we're just going to get 0, 0, 0. This next one here, you've got 0 and you've got 1. So that's going to be 1. But this one here, it's not exclusive at this point because they're both ones. Like this is a 1 and this is a 1. And it's not one or the other one exclusively. So this one's actually going to be 0 here. And then you get a couple zeros, so it's 0, 0. And this one here, this digit is 1. This one is 0. So we get a 1 here. And this should give us here what? 1 plus 16. We expect to get back 17 then as the result of this operator here. And the way that you can think of like exclusive OR versus inclusive OR. So exclusive OR is kind of like if you're at a restaurant and they say, would you like soup or salad, right? You can only get the soup or the salad. You can't get both. When they're asking you that question, they're asking you if you want soup or you want salad. You can't get both, right? And that's like exclusive OR here, right? You can't get both. You get a 0 back. You can have one or you can have the other. Whereas inclusive OR is more like when you get coffee at, say, like a restaurant and they say, would you like cream or sugar? They're using the same word or, right? But when you get coffee and they say, would you like cream or sugar? We know that means you can have cream and you can have sugar, right? So you can have one or the other or both in that case. And that's sort of the inclusive OR versus the exclusive OR situation here. So this is what the XOR operator looks like. X, and we're going to say XOR Y. So then when we compile this here and we run it, we expect to get back 17, and we do. And that is the Bitwise operators in C. Check out portfoliocourses.com, where we'll help you build a portfolio that will impress employers, including courses to help you develop C programming projects.